Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me. In today's episode, we have a big breaking news update that we just found out about today, but it looks like she was captured yesterday. If you remember, about 6 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, I reported on the death of Anna Mariah Wilson, also known by her friends and loved ones and all those around the cycling community as Mo. Pro cyclists already capturing the world's attention around pro cycling as one of the best female riders. And she was just getting started. And I shared on that. If you've not seen that, make sure you click up here so you can get the full story, because now I'm catching you up with a breaking news update. Kaitlin Armstrong has been captured. Mo Wilson on the left, Kaitlin Armstrong on the right. Fugitive Texas murder suspect Kaitlin Armstrong has been captured in Costa Rica more than 6 weeks after Austin police obtained a murder warrant in the death of pro cyclist Anna Mariah Mo Wilson. Today, U.S. Marshals announced her capture. And this is 43 days into the manhunt. And they said that she had been captured yesterday on Wednesday. Costa Rican authorities, they assisted U.S. law enforcement in tracking Armstrong to a hostel on Santa Teresa Beach in Provincia de Puntarenas. And this was according to the Marshals. Authorities said that she used a fraudulent passport to fly from Newark, New Jersey to San Jose, Costa Rica on May 18th. According to U.S. Marshal for the Western District of Texas, Susan Parmelo, she said that the Marshals Service elevated the Kaitlin Armstrong investigation to major case status early in the investigation, which likely played a key role in her capture after a 43-day run. She says that this is an example of combining the resources of local, state, federal, and international authorities to apprehend a violent fugitive, bring an end to that run, and hopefully a sense of closure to the victim's family. Hopefully this does bring a little closure. They'll never have their young daughter back, their young loved one back. But until she was caught, that's even harder to really take in. I've never been in this situation where someone around me has been murdered, so I can't really speak for the family. But due to doing a lot of these true crime videos, there's never full justice. But it's definitely worse when there are no answers and there's no one to serve justice for this. That's even harder than the perpetrator getting away. That's even harder than whodunit scenario. And now hopefully the family can have a little bit of closure in their world. Now Kaitlin Armstrong, she is expected to be deported to face justice in the US, where she has been charged with this murder and unlawfully fleeing prosecution. We'll dive into that as well. But if you don't recall, number one, you can always follow the story up here from when I first created the content around this. But Austin Police Department, they found Mo Wilson, 25 years old, riddled with gunshot wounds in a friend's home around 10 p.m. on May 11th. Mo Wilson, who is from California but was in Texas preparing for an upcoming race there. She is one of the country's top pro cyclists, and she was visiting Texas ahead of a competition when she went out for an evening with Colin Strickland, who is also a pro cyclist and someone she previously had a very short-term relationship with. She wasn't in a relationship with him at the time of this killing. Moments after Strickland had dropped Mo Wilson off that evening, Armstrong's SUV showed up on surveillance video outside. And again, when she was interrogated, she had no answers to why her vehicle was in the area. Caitlin Armstrong, who was a yoga teacher, she was questioned and released on May 12th. By May 17th, she was named in a murder warrant. By then, she'd already flown from Texas to New York, where police say she arrived at LaGuardia Airport on May 14th. That same day, an anonymous caller told Austin police that Armstrong had recently obtained a handgun. Months earlier, according to this tipster, she allegedly grew furious after learning that Strickland was involved in a romantic relationship with Mo Wilson. Police said one of two 9mm handguns that they had recovered at Strickland's home was significant to the investigation. Armstrong, who also lived there, was tied to this handgun. According to one man, he says that she may have visited a campground about 120 miles away because he had saw her before the whole thing blew up. Then her last known whereabouts were at Newark International Airport in New Jersey, also about 120 miles away from the campground on May 18th. Caitlin Armstrong on the right in this photo, she's a former real estate investor. Authorities believe that she may have had a significant amount of cash when she went on the run. Jason Jensen, a Utah-based private investigator who had been following the case, he shared that there is a chance Caitlin Armstrong was using her sister's identity while on the run. A day before Caitlin Armstrong was seen in New Jersey, her sister allegedly obtained a New York State driver's license, according to Jason Jensen. Police in Austin previously said they'd already recovered the handgun that was used to kill Wilson after searching Strickland's home, where Caitlin Armstrong also lived. In this picture is Strickland, who was the boyfriend of Armstrong and had a short brief fling with Mo Wilson. Now, a new federal warrant that had come out about a week ago, it shared that they had proof that gun that they found in Strickland's home that was purchased by Strickland for Caitlin was the murder weapon. And so this new federal warrant, it put an end to any speculation about whether police believe they recovered the right gun that was used to kill Moriah Wilson when they found this gun in the home of her suspected love triangle killer, Caitlin Armstrong, in Austin in May. So the U.S. Marshals announced earlier that the 34-year-old Armstrong, who was already wanted on a Texas murder warrant at that time, was now facing a federal charge of unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. They didn't quite have any proof that she actually got on the plane, but they knew that she was not in Texas anymore and that she was fleeing prosecution. And this new warrant confirmed that spent shell casings at the murder scene matched those that police later fired from a handgun that was seized at Caitlin Armstrong's home, which she shared with her boyfriend, Colin Strickland, again, who is also another professional cyclist who had gone out to dinner with the 25-year-old Wilson the night of the shooting. On the date of the murder, Armstrong owned a pistol that Austin Police Department had seized from her residence during the course of their investigation. And laboratory test firing of Armstrong's pistol confirmed that it fired the spent shell casings that Austin Police Department found at the scene of the murder. Police had previously said of the recovered weapon that the potential that the same firearm was involved is significant. Strickland and Armstrong, they were living together, and according to an earlier affidavit, he bought her the gun at the start of the year. Shortly after Strickland had dropped off Wilson on the night of her death, police alleged in the murder warrant, Armstrong's Jeep SUV appeared on a neighborhood security camera. And again, if you've not seen that video or all that footage, just click right up here and you can follow along. And so Deputy Marshal Amir Perez wrote in an affidavit, "I respectfully submit that there is probably cause to believe Armstrong has fled the state of Texas in order to avoid prosecution for the crime of murder." Police say that Armstrong fled Texas last month and flew to New York, that she visited her sister before last being seen at Newark International Airport, just across the New Jersey state line. And for a little while, the trail had went cold. And so they even increased the reward and hoping that tips would come in to find her killer. And Jason Jensen, this Utah-based private investigator, he had taken an interest in the case, and he said a vehicle history report shows that the Jeep that marshals say Armstrong sold for $12,200 before fleeing Texas was worth more than $16,000, and this is a huge discount in a market where vehicle prices have completely skyrocketed. If you have bought a car anytime in the last 6 months, you know how much prices have gone up. Even more. We bought a car November, I want to say it was, and my gosh, the prices on these cars have gone through the roof. And so obviously taking a huge discount when she could have easily marked it up possibly shows intent to, I need to get out of here really fast. And especially having $12,000 cash on hand, this would be a lot more useful for someone who is trying to run from the law. And she sells this vehicle to an Austin CarMax dealership on May 13th, 2 days after Mo Wilson was killed, and 1 day after she was questioned and released by Texas authorities. So she must have known they were going to catch up with her. But, you know, how does she think are people dumb? I guess so, because they keep thinking they could get away with this stuff. She should have just turned herself in right away and just been honest, because you're not getting away with this stuff. My gosh, she was way too close to home to think she could get away with this. And so personally, I'm excited they finally got her, and hopefully this could bring some type of peace to Mo Wilson's family. Rest in peace, Mariah Wilson, taken way too soon with such a promising future. Hurt by a guy she cared about, who was probably not being the best of guys at the moment. I don't know the whole story. I'm not going to judge him. I'm definitely going to judge Kaitlin Armstrong, because she clearly, I don't care how hurt you are, you don't take someone's life. I don't care. In Mo Wilson's case, she probably didn't even know that he had somebody or used to. I don't know what did she know, but I know she didn't deserve to die. I know that. That is without a shadow of a doubt the truth. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today. Hey, if you got some value from this, please hit that subscribe button. That way, anytime I upload content, you get notified. And if you did find some value and this is the type of content you like to follow, please hit that like button. That way it lets me know you got some value. It lets YouTube know you got some value. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me, my friends. Have a great day. Peace.